To a great Tuesday. We're live in the Stability Studio, ready for a deeper dive. We're excited about the deeper dive because it gives us the opportunity to attend to the things that God is saying to us. We are people who are determined to be most blessed. And we welcome you to the virtual building. If you're in the chat it up, drop something, let us know that you're there. Go ahead and take the time to share the feed with those that you're connected to on your social media platforms. Today is a special day for many reasons. I know many of you are experiencing some back to school commute. Some of the kids went back to school today, but I know you're preparing your kids for back to school. That's awesome. That's great. And I'm glad that we're in a mental state, spiritual state, that we're ready for all of that, right? We're encouraged. We're full of faith. Right now I'm thinking about we had our family conference. We're charged up, right? And then on Sunday, we were charged up with a message from Pastor Brian, who is here in the building with us. Good morning, Pastor Brian.
Hey, Pastor Lamar.
And Sunday's message titled, The Power to Get It. The Power to Get It. And it was great. Sunday just seemed like a special moment. The message, something about it. I watched online, so people in the building can really attest to, like, you know, what happened. Like, I know in the the replay is just, you know, the message. So I want to know, like, what else was happening.
What else was happening?
Like it was a Sunday. It was a special Sunday.
There was a lot of cool moments.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't know everybody's, you know, story. I can say for myself, obviously there was, you know, we had the marriage SOS.
Right.
I was extremely pumped up after that because it just reminded me of how much I love doing that.
All right.
You know, and just as the Bible tells us, right, you know, when your gift is stirred up, you know, and predominantly because you're using your gift, you know, you feel full. Yeah. And so I was just feeling super full from just that moment. Yeah. And then, of course, there was an overall excitement. I mean, there was I ran into maybe 6 people. One of the 6 people brought 17 people to church, which is a lot, right? That might be a record.
They get a star.
But I ran into 6 people. I ran into 6 people that came because, you know, I was excited on Saturday, so I put out a video, right? You know, about just the message coming. Yeah. So I ran into 6 people that normally don't come into church that came because of that video, right? Right. But one of the 6 people brought 17 people. Right, nice. One of the 6 brought 17. Yeah. Right, and which was awesome, right? And I'm like, man, this is exciting. That's nice. Right, you know. So for myself, but then of course I also got some just exciting news. Just was good, right? Just a good Sunday.
That's good. You talk about being full. I want to bring this in too. So we started our SOS sessions, which the message series Beyond Good touches on or has touched on many, if not all, of the points that are being covered in the SOS. Yeah. Is that right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So you talked about marriage. I mean, we've come out of our family conference, and now we have marriage in the SOS. Sunday's message, The Power to Get It, talked about wealth and prosperity, and that's the Monday night session of the of SOS. And we always talk about spiritual growth. And a few weeks ago, we took a little deep dive into purpose. So all of that is there on the table, ready to.
Yeah. So definitely. Last night was fun. Missing my people though, like that was strange. You know, I'm sitting in my house. GA was there. Thankful GA was there. But it was just like, you know, I just love people. Yeah. You know, even if it's just 1, 2, right? It was, you know, so it was good to have GA there. I told him I wouldn't have survived without him. You know, I was having him do all types of stuff in the chat, and it was like, is he going to really stop until we respond? Yes. Like, I don't know how to do this without you, right? But then I heard they was talking. I just couldn't hear them, right? So then, you know, that was funny.
Okay. Awesome. So it's a lot of good to pull from.
And now we're here, right? Pastor Lamar called me Sunday, right? With 3 families joined in St. Pete Church. right? On Sunday, 3 families joining St. Pete. Just cool, right? Then we talked about the power to get it, and we talked about getting something too. Like let's just get it.
Expecting the miraculous.
We expecting the miraculous outcome right now.
That's good.
Yes, we are.
And it all starts with asking the right questions.
Yeah.
We've been laying that out for a little while, just the value of a right question.
Yeah.
And when it relates to our relationship with God, asking the right question gives us I wanted to say peak, but it's more than a peak. But through the right question, you get to see his character and even gain his perspective. And where we were on Sunday is getting his perspective on us prospering, right? God has no problem with us prospering.
Yeah.
So let's start there. Psalms 35:26 is so valuable for us to have in our foundation of faith, right? Yeah. Knowing that God is beyond okay with us prospering.
Takes pleasure.
Yes.
Takes pleasure in the prosperity of his servant. It's kind of plain.
Right.
It's just over time, life can start talking to you more than God is. And if you allow that to happen, you can forget that God said he's okay with it.
That's good.
Because you'll adjust to what life is saying, and you'll think that, man, based upon how I've experienced things thus far, it might not be true.
That's good.
And so just to make sure that people haven't, created a stronghold as it concerns God's idea of them, we just started there. Like, no, we're not going to go deep and do nothing fancy and dive in. We're just going to read something very plain and clear. God takes pleasure in the prosperity of his servant.
That's good.
And so I believe it's pretty cool talking to Pastor Lamar about preaching and teaching. One of the things that he shared with me is, hey, if you got something that needs to be stood on, say it in a way it don't got to be explained, right? And so it's just one of those scriptures that doesn't have to be explained. It's right there.
Yep.
And so awesome. Just starting there, understanding, no, God's okay with this.
Yeah. Man, for folks who are really looking to and working on attending to the things that God has said, like, if you have a notebook, like if you can label a page like fundamental, this is stuff I need to know. Like Psalm 35:26 is one of those scriptures that's just, this is fundamental. This is something that I need to know in any season. God is beyond okay with me prospering. Because to your point, it is so easy to conform to life, to the narrative, to the news, everything that we keep hearing, that we could find ourselves drifting away from that point. But if you got it written down somewhere, it can bring you back. No, God is beyond okay with me prospering. So that's a good point.
There's a fine line in between, questioning yourself and discovering through questioning what God is trying to say to you. Right? And what I've learned is a lot of people, they start to question themselves. And what I mean by that is, how do I know that I'm questioning myself? Is you start to think it's your inadequacies that's causing your condition. No, you are now questioning yourself. You're not bringing questions to what happened. You're now questioning yourself.
Wow.
And those are two different things. And you want to, how do I know that I'm doing the one that's negative? And we say this all the time. Anytime that you are processing thoughts of insufficiency, you're moving in the wrong direction. Anytime you are seeing yourself as less than, as you are reading the word of God or wanting to discover more about what God's doing in your life, you're going in the wrong direction, right? You shouldn't be meditating on your life or reflecting over what's happening in your life and start to think less of yourself. You start thinking that way, just stop. Pump the brakes. You have the wrong filter in this moment.
That's good.
Because we only look back to see where God has been, to see how God has shown up. And that is what that right questioning is important and vital for. And I know you asked me earlier, like, how did the message start? The message started with the question.
Yeah, right.
The message started with the question, right?
That's good. And you shared, as you're just laying some foundation on Sunday, you also shared the 37th Psalm, verse 25, never have seen the righteous forsaken nor their seed begging bread. And the mindset that put me in, like another way to say what David said, is never have I seen the righteous left alone. Yeah. And I saw that fitting into the flow of the rest of the message. Like, don't forget that you're not alone. You're not by yourself in the work that you do. So let me put this in there, because the question of the week.
Like, some people, let me tell you what some people do.
Yeah.
They would read that and say, well, you ain't never met me. You know, right? Like, that's questioning you.
Right.
I know people who have literally read that and said, well, he ain't never met me.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
And then read that and say, well, it must not be for me, right? Because they feel forsaken and they feel like they've been left begging for bread.
That's good. But you're not. You're not alone. And here's the question. The question of the day, the question of the week. Are you waiting on a miracle, or are you working a miracle?
Yeah.
That's the question. Are you waiting, or are you working?
Yeah.
Pastor Brian said he was going to jack the laziness up out us, right? Let's go.
It really, it's the story we've been telling all year. This is our year to contend. And we said at the top of there's just certain victories that God has for us that we will not see if we choose not to fight for it.
Yeah.
This has been the same. This is, I didn't say that on Sunday because I feel like we should all been listening. It'll make the service too long if I go back and say certain things all the time. But I feel like, man, that should have stirred something up to remind, like, no, this isn't. We are continuing that same story. We haven't relaxed our hold, but God said that, and I said, okay, God, here we are. A little bit over the half year mark, and so we're sitting in this moment, and it's still the same message. It's still the same stirring. It's still saying, no, we got to get up and go get it. And so that's where a lot of that was coming from. Is just saying, no, this is our year to contend. And no, there's certain victories that you are not going to realize if you choose not to fight for it.
Yeah.
It's just not going to happen, and not to, I say all the time, this is not to put pressure on nobody, but man, it's for you to finally see God working through you, right? And that's actually part 2, right? Okay. That's part 2. So part 1 was the question, but truth be told, we should see ourselves as his miracle working.
Right. Okay.
I'm not waiting on a miracle. I'm his miracle working.
Yeah, that's good. So, okay. All right. I think you just answered the question that I had.
2.
But that's
part 2.
I got you.
It's part 2.
Oh man.
It's good. It's good.
So when I hear you saying, when I listen to that,
I'm his miracle working.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Ooh.
Right.
Well, I'm his miracle working. I'm his miracle in motion.
Yeah. Right.
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 Get a hold of that.
Right.
Right. I've been redeemed. I've been forgiven. I've been set up. I've been empowered. I'm his miracle working.
Right. So let's talk about God. Yeah. God being the difference between like the lead up to the promised land. Like I saw that as a time when God was working from the outside.
Yeah.
Right? Providing the manna, the water from the rock. God is working from the outside.
Yeah.
But then going into the promised land, we see a switch, right? God is working from the inside, or working with you.
Yeah.
And I think that gives us a picture of even, like, I see even Christian development, how we should be developing. I think all of us remember a time, I've heard many believers talk about how, man, it seemed like it was so easy in the beginning.
Yeah.
Right? And then you get going and it's like, man, God, you ain't doing it the same way that you used to do. But I think that the progression that we see Israel go through is the Christian progression. Like, God, there's a difference between God working on the outside and now God working on the inside. And so I hear, like, it's setting the stage, like the work that we do sets the stage for God to do the miraculous.
Yeah. Yeah. And I wanted to read this, right? I didn't read this on Sunday, so I read it today, right? John 6, right? In John 6:26, right? Jesus replied, I tell you the truth. You want to be with me because I fed you, not because you understood the miraculous signs.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I love to show this because we see Jesus peeling back the fact that there is something that we are to understand as a result of miracles even occurring.
Mm-hmm.
And this is after Jesus had fed the multitudes with fish and loaves, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he realized that people were following him.
Mm-hmm.
And he realized at that moment, wait a minute, you're following me to be fed.
Mm-hmm.
You're not following me because you see me as the bread of life.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And what he addressed to him is, you missed the whole point of the miracle.
Mm-hmm.
The point of the miracle wasn't for you just to be fed, but for you to see me as the one who can provide.
Right.
And to take that understanding in your walk.
Right.
There's a, and I'm reading this because there's always a point behind the miracle. There's always something that God is wanting us to receive as the reason why something happened by his just absolute divine intervention. And that is many of our, I mean, God's still doing miracles. Like we're expecting miraculous outcomes. What I know is he's doing them to bring greater understanding to something.
Right. That's good.
He's not doing them so that I can substitute him, seeing him as my source, and start just expecting things that just happen. He's doing them because there's something deeper about him he's wanting to reveal.
Yeah.
There's something in this miracle that's growing me.
Yeah.
He's not just giving out handouts to create a powerless person.
Right.
Like, in a lot of people, they have put their power on the side, right? And just expecting a miracle.
That's good.
Not understanding the miracles happen to empower you in your future.
Right.
Jesus said, no. And then at that moment, Jesus said, and I taught him this a couple years ago, he said, no more bread.
Right.
He's like, I'm out.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not doing this anymore. Why? Because it's not getting you to where I want you to be, which is to see me as your source.
Yeah.
And so he cut off their supply, right? He said, I'm done for this, right? And the point of that is not to change our expectation, but for us to adjust where we sit and how we see ourselves relating to God today. And to prayerfully motivate us and encourage us to walk in the power he's freely given us. To say, no, I got you.
Right.
No. And I like to say it like this. The Bible tells us that miracles, signs, and wonder follow. They don't lead.
Right. That's good.
They're where I've been. They're where God has been.
That's good.
They don't lead us, they follow us.
That's good.
It's evidence of where God has shown up.
Right.
And as people of God, we are doing things, going places, establishing things, and miracle signs and wonders are following the work that we do. But there's work that we do so that people can see the miracle signs and wonders that follow. We don't wake up and be like, where's the miracle, signs, and wonder? No, you're his miracle that's working already. You want to see the miracle? I tell people all the time.
Look in the mirror.
Look in the mirror.
Right. That's good. Yeah. That is, I see that as like shift in perspective. Like, I'm not looking for a miracle. I'm going to do a work, and the miracle will follow.
They follow.
Yeah.
That's man, they coming, man.
That's good.
Because I'm working. And as I go, man, all types of things happen that man, those are those miraculous outcomes, things that are far beyond what I could have did. And that's where I know, like, man, it's not me, there's a power in me, right? That is willing this and driving this and moving this. And it's just incredible. I one of the testimonies I got, and just think about this, right? It was the power to get it. And I love that God just because many people are like, Pastor Brian, why are you being so abstract, right? Mm-hmm. You know, it could have easily been titled "The Power to Get the Wealth." Mm-hmm. I could easily just put the power to get the wealth, right? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Let's say the power to get it. Mm-hmm. And I'm so thankful that the Holy Spirit said that, because one of the testimonies that I got was that on Monday I got a testimony of a family reconciling. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Because they saw the power to get it. Mm-hmm. They didn't point it at money. Right. They said, no, we have the power to get it together. Mm-hmm. 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 Let's talk. Yeah. They said they all went out to dinner after service and started their path to reconciling.
That's good.
Because they realized they had the strength to stay at the table. Mm-hmm. Like I have the strength to stay here. I have the strength. God will give me the wisdom. Mm-hmm. God will give me the power to move over this hurdle that we're facing.
When you
isn't that amazing?
It is. It is.
Right.
And what excites me about it is, like, when you paint the picture that way, I see the value is in words like strength. Like, it changes perspective. Again, it's not that I'm expecting like God to just do something, but understanding that He's given me the strength to get my family together. Yeah. We're going to sit down, and while we are doing this, the wisdom is going to come to say the right thing, to be patient, to be understanding, do everything that's necessary to bring the reconciliation that needs to take place.
Absolutely, right. Mm-hmm. And there's things that we own, right? We're His living epistles. Yeah. You know, we see in Acts where Jesus gave them the Holy Spirit. This power will come upon you so that you can go and be witnesses throughout the world, right? Mm-hmm. You see that crossing, right? You see Jesus, right? I say like sometimes, man, we're just here to continue His work, right? Mm-hmm. And what does that mean? That means that so much of how we are living represents the power that God has. Mm-hmm. So much of how we are walking, and it should. Mm-hmm. Like, people should see our lives and be like, I know that can only be God.
Yeah, right. Mm-hmm.
And when you dissect that statement and dissect those thoughts that we all have when we see somebody doing something, you know, there's nothing like, this is kind of funny, but I believe we've all had this thought. Everybody in this room I know has graduated from high school. Mm-hmm. And so there's people we went to high school with. But now, decades later, years later, you can kind of see some of the outcomes.
Yeah. Right.
And there's certain people you look at, you're like, I did not know.
Right.
That they had that. Mm-hmm. You know, there's nothing like walking around with people, seeing them look normal, and then seeing them do something that is completely outside of the realm of normal. And you're like, there has got to be something that's going on that I want to know about, because I know they ain't that much different than me.
Right.
Like, they was failing the same classes in high school I was. Like, we was in the same football team. You know, like, he didn't look that good. Right. Y'all know I be talking about real stuff when I be saying stuff. But I have a friend, right? I promise you, I did not know this man was good at football. This man played 10 years in the NFL. But he was just okay. Like, he was just okay in high school. But somewhere he went to UCF. I don't know what happened over there.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
I don't know what happened.
Right.
All I know is this man played 10 years of professional. When he got drafted, I was like, what in the world?
Wow.
And I'm thinking to myself,
yeah,
because I was, you know, I know I be talking about it all the time. Like, I was seen as the good football player.
Right.
Like, and like, I was like, man, like, like, man, like, did I stop short of my potential? Like, because I know I had him. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
Not no more.
Not no more.
Not no more.
Right.
And at some point, he just believed inside of himself. Because at that moment, no one believed that. No one imagined that could be where he ended up. There was nothing that showed that fruit, but at the end of the day, he definitely believed that if he walked this walk, right, that he is a believer. He's a Christian. And that power of God would show up.
Yeah.
And
it was obvious that something's there.
Something happened
beyond what we saw.
And he describes it himself. He's this is what God ordained.
Yeah.
This is what God wanted to be, man.
Right.
Oh, that's how he says it. This is how God wanted it to be, and so it was. And that's really the testimony of so many of our lives.
Right.
And man, I just believe that there's nothing more powerful when God uses us to show his glory. And what does that mean? That means we are doing things that we could only do if it was him with us.
That's good.
But those moments, a lot of people are waiting for those moments to, I don't know. I don't.
Pastor Brian, if you feel it's necessary, because right now I'm feeling that, is it that we think so much towards the spectacular that we omit the everyday things that put us in a place to experience the miraculous?
I think that we think the opportunities have to look spectacular for God to do the miraculous in them. I think that we label certain things before we walk in them.
Wow.
And
no, you need to circle
that is the real problem.
You need to circle that. Circle that.
And so I like.
Wait. I gotta repeat it just in case somebody missed it. We said. Can you repeat it? You gonna repeat?
I do. Like that's.
I think we label. Things.
I think we label things wrong. Like we don't see that we're the miracle that's coming to it.
Right.
And so we see things happening that in our perspective don't look like his good, but don't realize that we're his good that's coming to it. And so we don't seize opportunities because we mislabel opportunities, because we think like the label's it's gonna show up looking like a miracle. But it doesn't show up looking like a miracle because you're the miracle that's coming to it. And when you touch it, it's gonna change. And that's what, if it shows up, I'm gonna make it plain. If Jesus arrived to the tomb and Lazarus was already walking out, who gets the glory?
Right.
He had to show up to a dead man. And oftentimes, we don't like seizing in our eyes what look like dead opportunities. But we don't realize you have to touch a dead thing so that he can get glory once life comes from it. We want to touch things that are already good. We want to be a part of things that are already established and built.
Wow.
And so that's what I think the grand thing that we keep messing up is opportunity after opportunity is passing us every single day. But because we don't touch what looks dead, we can't see the glory that God's wanting us to bring to it come from it.
Yeah.
Like I say, the person had to be sick for Jesus to heal him.
Right.
Right?
That's good.
Like they say it like this.
Yeah.
We'll bring it back to culture. Many believers are just riding a good coattail.
Yeah.
And you're trying to figure out, why do I not feel fulfilled? Why do I not feel as though my all is doing all of this? And well, that's because you keep just riding coattails, right? And you're feeling undervalued. That's because you keep walking into situations not allowing the value you bring to mean anything. It's like people be living in reverse, if you catch me. They want to bring value to something that's already valuable. Mm-hmm. It's like if
you're undermining the power that you got. It's like
boom!
The power that you have irrelevant.
Exactly.
You're trying to show up where there's already power.
Exactly. I'm gonna use a football term, right?
That's good.
Right? You'll see. I hope I don't miss people that don't understand sports. Maybe I can break it down enough that's practical, right? But you'll see. What's a highly contested position? Quarterbacks, right? You'll see quarterbacks in college football. Their freshman year, many of them aren't very particular about where they'll go because they need to be trained. Mm-hmm. Now, come year 2, their sophomore year, okay? Mm-hmm. I'll graduate in 2 more years. I've been here for 2 years. I got 2 more years left to show that I can play. If they get to that second year and realize there's 4 quarterbacks on this roster, I'm the backup. I'm a backup on a good team, though. Mm-hmm. I'm the backup on a good team. I'm a backup on Alabama. Mm-hmm. And we have national. I should have did that, Jesus.
You did it.
But I want to keep it so people know, right? Shoot. That's going to hurt me later. Oh, that's going to hurt me later. I'm going to pay for that. But it's for the example, right?
Yeah.
So, because this is.
You're back up on Florida State.
No. I'm going to bring it back. I'm going to bring it back. But I can't do it now. I got to stay where I started.
Okay.
If I am second string on Alabama's football team, what I know is freshman year, I was okay. Great training, great facility, maybe got me a national championship. Sophomore year, even great training, working around good people, all this other type of stuff. Here's the problem. Come my junior year, if I'm expecting to get to the NFL, I can't stay the backup here. Now, I'm good, but my value can't be assessed in this culture. So you'll see quarterbacks and different players make decisions that some people are like, I don't understand why you would leave Alabama.
Right. Don't do that.
Now I can do it.
Oh, man.
I don't understand why you would leave Alabama with Nick Saban with the opportunity to win a national championship and go to the Gators.
Yeah.
You are throwing away. You are throwing away a possible national championship.
Yeah.
You are.
Go all the way. Go.
You are giving away great trainers.
Yeah.
You're giving up great facilities.
Go all the way.
You're leaving an awesome fan base to go play in the swamp.
That's right. That's right. Right. I see. Yeah.
To go play in the swamp. I'm gonna bring it back for you, Pace team. I'm gonna bring it back, Steve. But if that player truly believes that they have a gift,
right?
If they truly believe that there's something in me,
right,
that is valuable, they'll say, no, I could bring a national championship to the Gators.
Right.
If I win one here, they'll just say it's the system.
Right.
But if I go there and win one there, they'll see the value I can bring to a team.
Right.
They'll see that I can be somebody that can turn an organization around. They'll see that I'm a person that can make a difference, change a culture, have people go from losing to winning. If I stay here,
right,
it's the system.
Yeah.
If I go there, I can make a mark that people can't forget.
Right.
You know what Christians do most often? Stay in Alabama.
Yeah.
You know what God's called them to do? Go to the Gators.
Yeah.
That's for you, Pastor T.
Yeah.
And because they don't, and I'm going to say this is going to be pretty strong. The only reason you really wouldn't make that change is you actually didn't believe.
Right.
That he would meet you there.
That's good.
And it's okay. You know, God will work with that.
Yeah.
He'll work with you. Fortunately, we're not timing out like college football players. But we have a God that every day he's waking up and he's giving us that opportunity. And what I see more often, because that's the question you asked me, what I see more often is people staying in Alabama and not going to Gainesville. What I see more often is people like fighting in Alabama to change Alabama, to make Alabama greater. Alabama's already great. And they are who they are. And yeah, you absolutely, and Nick Saban will have every player know that, no, you bring value to this.
Yeah.
You do. But that's what I see more often than not, is us not walking up to them, bring it back to the Bible, right? Us not walking up to the tomb and saying, Lazarus, come forth. What I see is us not going to the woman with the issue of blood. And that's what I see us not doing. We're not going to the dead places. We're riding the coattails of what's good.
That's good.
And, yeah.
That's good. So I'm going to, I'm in Facebook right now. I'm sharing this right now. I encourage you to do the same thing because that was good.
But I want to read this, right?
Yes.
Because I think this is so important. This is a great place to put this. On Sunday, I said, when God shares that with you and it scares you, right? When you get that, when God's calling you to a dead thing, and you get that moment where it's like, whoa, that. I told you that, man, God has really been adjusting my prayer with that and saying, I received the faith for that.
Right.
I'll receive the faith to believe that.
That's good.
Because I don't believe you don't go there in fear. Like, and I'm saying this because every step you take in faith is a step that's sure. I love you say it, like faith is a foundation on which I'm walking on. It's not unsettling. I don't get all that stuff. I never got none of that stuff. That stuff was confusing to me. But what I'm saying, the stuff of faith is a mystery, or if it ain't scaring you, it ain't big enough. No, boss. Right. Like all of these are no, those are not good. No, if it's God calling me, it's courage I feel.
Right.
Now, if I don't feel courage, I know it's not because God's not calling me. I know it's because there's something in his character I've yet to lay hold of.
Right. That's good.
I know there's something that God is consistently and going to be consistently in my life that I have yet to lay hold of.
Right.
And so I say like this. I say it like this, right? Fear is like the fire alarm in your house.
Right.
Fear is just the system that alerts you that there is a problem. Fear isn't the problem.
Right.
Fear is just the signal that there is a problem. So anytime we're feeling less than, or anytime we're feeling fearful, or anytime we're feeling these things. It's that ain't the thing. Those are just signals that there is something about God's character I have yet to be exposed to extinguish what this signal is giving me.
Yeah.
Right? And so, because then you start trying to talk to the fear, and you why are you talking to the fear? Exactly. Right? You should be talking about his character.
Right.
That is what gives you sure footing when the fear comes, right?
Right.
Or when the fear tries to settle in. I don't talk to the fear. What the fear got to say? Fear will keep making up stories. That's what it does. It would keep just doing what it do, right? But I want to read this, right? Because I don't want people to hear what we're saying this morning and start doing stupid stuff. If I could just make it plain. No, it's you will feel if God's calling you to a thing that man, this thing is rough. Let me tell you, the worst thing you could do is get yourself involved in a project God ain't called you to.
Right.
Because it will drain everything from you. But you shouldn't be feeling drained as you are walking with God. You should feel empowered and refreshed as you're walking with God. There's certain things, I don't know why we allow ourselves to violate the very word we know.
Right.
When Jesus showed us himself that, like, doing the will of the Father will have you even forgetting you need food. Doing the will of the Father will even forget that you had a thirst. He wasn't saying that you don't need water, you don't need food. He's saying that, man, like when you are walking where God wants you to walk, there are certain things that naturally won't even slow you down.
Right.
You won't even realize you're tired. I don't realize I'm tired. It's so funny, right? I don't actually realize I am tired from what preaching and teaching all the time and stuff until like Monday afternoon. No, it's normally not until like Monday around 2:00. Any staff member can tell you, call me Monday around 2:00, I'm gonna forget some of the stuff I said. Is Very in here? No. Oh, I was talking to a Very yesterday. She called me. I said, I was mid saying something, and I forgot what I was saying.
Yeah.
And I was tired, and that's why I was sitting at the house because I knew I had a session that night, and I couldn't even remember. Like, I was trying to have sentences, and I couldn't even complete the sentences. Here's the thing, though. I couldn't sleep on Sunday. I couldn't. People were like, man, why did you just go home and take a nap? I am so stirred up. It's like I'm just sitting on the bed like a kid hyped up on sugar. I just want to go. And I'm saying all this to say that, man, that is what you're supposed to feel.
Right.
Why do we not feel that way and then just keep pushing on like we're not getting signals that there's something off? I mean, the staff will tell you here, I'll stop. Right? I'll just absolutely stop. Be like, nah, about something is wrong right now. Let's get this atmosphere together. We need to turn on some music. Like, what do we need to do here? Right? Is it lighting? It's something, but we not gonna sit here in this fog and act like it ain't foggy. Like that's not it. I understand. I understand spiritual opposition. I understand. Look, oh Lord, I was processing some thoughts, and I was just saying it simple, as many people have heard before, but God was just showing me some stuff that's just a little more deep than that, right? But man, if you've played any sport at any point in time, you know what it feels like to have an enemy. You know what it feels like to have someone who's actually working against your progress.
Right.
Playing sports will teach you what it means to have a real opposition, to have a real enemy, someone who is literally fighting against your victory.
Right.
What I've also learned from playing sports and having those experiences, what many people have labeled as opposition ain't opposition at all. You are fighting nobody. Like there is nothing withholding you right now. That you were, man, I have people calling me, man, I'm fighting through so much right now. No, you're fighting through just picking what you like and just sticking with it. You're fighting through your own indecision. That ain't the enemy attacking you. That ain't Satan. Like, if you've ever had a real enemy, right? They jumping on you from morning to sundown. Mm-hmm. No, you ain't start feeling this type of way until the afternoon, right? Until after you probably ate some food that got you feeling some type of way. Like, you ain't start feeling. You didn't wake up feeling bad. Mm-hmm. You ran into a moment, right? And you need to talk about that moment, right? Because anyway, I'm just simply saying, half the time that people are talking about this opposition that isn't real. That the only thing that is having them where they are is just they're just not walking in what they know and what they have. Man, like, but that ain't it at all. Like, you man, if you ever seen somebody who's actually working against you, then you understand, man, there's been moments where this ministry has been under extreme spiritual attack. Mm-hmm. It's nothing to play with. Mm-hmm. It is nothing to play with. And I'm saying this because a lot of people are living in a fog and they've convinced themselves that they're under some type of opposition that they're not. Good. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. They're just not. Mm-hmm. You know, Satan's what? A defeated foe. Mm-hmm. Right? His only way of waging war against us is to get us to receive thoughts that aren't true. Right. But he can't put a hand on you. Yeah. He doesn't have a right to do that. Yeah. You have to literally accept thoughts that are I should say better than that. You have to, people say accept. What do you mean by accept? You have to contemplate thoughts that are in opposition to who God says you are, for you to even start to even feel what it could feel like for Satan to attack you. Because truth is, he can't really attack you.
That's good.
But you can start to entertain thoughts that he can attack you, and those thoughts can keep you bound. But they're all just thoughts. Yeah. That you decided to meditate on. Right. Right. You see what I'm saying?
What I hear you saying through what you're just saying, and even the examples of the sports, what I hear is focus. Like, when you're focused on what's out there instead of what God has you in or what's in here, then you'll be.
Pull it back, Pastor Lamar.
What? How
you
far?
Help me pull it back.
How? Okay. That's what it is. It's focus. It's focus. Whenever we find ourselves focusing on our circumstances or the environment, we feel discouraged. We feel defeated. We feel inferior. We feel that we don't have enough because the giant's so big. All of those things are from an external focus. Yeah. But when we focus on what God has given us and what's on the inside, we'll feel encouraged, we'll feel supplied, we'll feel, which is I think the key to even underlying note in Sunday's message is internal focus. God is with you. So wherever you go.
I want to read this, right? This is where I was trying to get to. But it says Romans 12, which we all know this, right? Start 1. And so, dear brothers and sisters, I plead with you to give your bodies to God because of all he has done for you. Yeah. Let them be a living and holy sacrifice, the kind he will find acceptable. This is truly the way to worship him. Don't copy the behavior and customs of this world, but let God transform you into a new person by changing the way you think. Yep. Right. How does he change this new person? By changing the way you think. Then you will learn to know God's will for you, which is good, pleasing, and perfect. Verse number 3 gets absolutely powerful. Everybody normally starts. This is powerful. Hear these words. Because of the privilege and authority God has given me. Because of the privilege and authority God has given me, this is a gift from God, the privilege and authority he's walking in, I give each of you this warning. Do not think you are better than you really are. Be honest in your evaluation of others. And this is the part I want you to hear. Measuring yourselves by the faith God has given us. Mm-hmm. What is he saying? He's saying that there is a thing that I am measuring myself up against. Mm-hmm. And that is the faith God has given us. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So what does faith say that I am? Mm-hmm. What does faith say that I can do? Mm-hmm. What is faith said that I can have? Mm-hmm. Like, that's what I'm actually measuring myself up against. I'm not measuring myself up against the thoughts of my past or the thoughts of what my future could, all this other stuff that's just there. The people around you, what they say, all this type of stuff. But I'm saying, what is faith said that I am? Right. And seeing myself just living that out to the fullest, that God has called me to be.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And then in the message, it tells us to take that thought in our everyday, ordinary life, our sleeping, eating, going to work, walking around life. We're to enter into our ordinary life with those thoughts, thoughts of faith. So, amen. Amen. That was good. That was great. That was more than good, Super Sean. More than good. And today's a good day. Yeah. This week is a good week. It's Tuesday. We are looking forward to Wednesday. Tomorrow's a valuable Wednesday.
I was looking for, right? I promise you, this is the end of it, right?
No, we tapped it.
I was looking for Paul starts giving out their he starts talking about the different gifts. Mm-hmm. And what he tells them is to operating in that gift according to the faith that they've been given. Mm-hmm. And that's why, just saying, God, I received the faith for that, right? I received the faith to believe that, because it's not that we are walking in these worlds of mystery, but we are with confidence, knowing the power that has been given to us, boldly. I just heard like a little space term, going where no man.
It's going.
Right?
Oh.
It's going.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But that's what it feels like. That is absolutely what it feels like. Now I'll close this so I can really stop. But that is absolutely what it feels like. But but it's not fearful. Mm-hmm. If I just hate that. I hate the perpetuation of that message. Mm-hmm. I truly do. Mm-hmm. I truly do. And I hate it because, and I say this too, right? Because if God ever uses fear to move you, then fear will have to sustain you. Mm-hmm. The problem is, fear is one of the number one thoughts that Satan uses. Mm-hmm. Like, Satan uses fear to get us to withdraw. But if I am walking with God using the same channel of communication that Satan uses, I will have problems deciphering his voice when I need it to the most. And so if that's why people are like, man, sometimes fear has to get you started. No, the problem is I'm now developing an appetite to let fear cause me to do things. Yeah. And if I start to live that out, where do I put borders? Like, if fear is going to start me, then fear can adjust me when I get moving. Yeah. But the problem with all that is God hasn't given us a spirit of fear, but of love, power, and the sound. None of the fruits of the spirit are fear. Mm-hmm. So I know it's not a product of his spirit. Mm-hmm. And so why would God, first of all, God can't use it. God doesn't use it because God don't have it. Mm-hmm. But secondly, it is going to be extremely hard to decipher and cast out thoughts that are not of God if you start to entertain things that are not of God. Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes you just gotta scare them to get them moving. Right. Mm-hmm. And that's where You know, oh man, I'm just trying not to say stuff we hear all the time, but when you say stuff like, I'm trying to say something, point right at somebody. I'm gonna say this right. Radical faith.
Yeah.
Right? Here's the thing. Satan will throw radical thoughts at you too. But radical isn't a fruit of my spirit. I understand it's great marketing verbiage.
Yeah. Right.
But when I'm sitting down in a real moment of prayer with God, asking, should I go left or right? Radical ain't gonna bring me peace.
Right.
A radical move ain't gonna bring me peace. Right. I'm trying to not make radical moves. I'm trying to make sound judgment.
Yeah.
You know, I've never. I mean, it's hype on Sunday, but I've never sat down in a moment of prayer and been like, God, just show me the most radical thing I could do right now. I'm like, God, you know, when I sit down in moments of prayer, I'm doing as I've been taught and as the word of God says we should be moving in. I am absolutely just searching for his peace because I know where he is, where peace is, there he is. Right. I'm not searching for radical. Yeah. I'm not searching for trying to. Yeah. We've used all the adjectives.
Scary.
I can't even say. I'm not searching for. We use all of them. Yeah. You know, we've used so many adjectives to describe faith that it's like there's none left. But I'm just saying that's not what people are sitting down looking for. What they are sitting down in their moments of prayer, when they are contemplating left or right, when they're contemplating up or down, what they are honestly looking for, what we all are looking for is, God, reveal your peace in what is next.
Right.
That's what we're all just like, God, because I know where you are, peace is. Yeah. And just because it is something that is absolutely extravagant and radical in other people's eyes, that doesn't mean it was the emotions I had to process to make the step.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, and I'll use this term, right? I'll just say it. It is what it is. I've been trying to work around it. But on the outside, everything that people are seeing, and it's, you know, it's even titled that way, right? Crazy faith. Everything people are seeing with Pastor Michael Todd. What I do know, as crazy as the things look, which that is a great way to describe it, I can guarantee you he felt absolute peace with every decision that was made. It was peace that led the decision. Yeah. It looked crazy on the outside. Right. But I didn't make it because it looked crazy. Exactly. Because truth be told, making crazy decisions is what gets a lot of us in trouble. Right. Like it's the crazy in us that's we trying to get out of us. Right. Right. So I made a lot of crazy decisions. Now I'm trying to make sound, wise decisions that are led by his peace. Right. I guarantee he didn't fear it. Right. He didn't question it because peace was in it.
Yeah. And you know, you said it on Sunday, you said it before, but you know the character, project the character. Yeah. So even in the situation, what we're looking for is the character of God to show up here. And part of that is like, there's security. Too, right?
Just don't allow good marketing schemes to define your faith.
Right.
It's just great advertising. Right. It's just good marketing. It just gets you to open the book. Yeah. Right? But in that book, man, at the core of it, we all are just wanting to, you know, Jameis Winston received several offers from the University of Alabama. He actually grew up right outside of Birmingham. And people were wondering, like, why didn't this Heisman candidate just go to Alabama? No. Right. He wanted to go make a name. Yeah. Never doubted the decision. Because I knew there was championship breed down there. I knew where others couldn't see. And if you are a recruit out there right now, if you are somehow, some way, catch this after you get out of school today and you're in high school, I'm going to tell you right now, make sure you go through Florida State. Allow that atmosphere to soak up in you. Make sure you go. Allow the championship climate, the the pedigree of victory.
Right.
To surround you. Pass by the unconquered trophy. Allow the spirit that is Florida State to overcome you.
Wow.
See yourself running out of the tunnel to 86,000 fans, synchronized in their war chant. Synchronized in their war chant.
Yeah.
A thunderous roar.
Right.
Of appreciation.
Right.
For the hard work you put in, so that we, as the Seminole tribe and nation, can put another ring on our finger and shout from the mountaintops.
Yeah.
Free at last. Free at last. Thank God Almighty. These Seminoles are free at last.
Let's go. Amen. The mic turn, symbolic of a mic drop. Tomorrow's a valuable Wednesday. Pastor Deborah is on deck. We'll catch you in the chat for that. Enjoy the rest of your day. Keep being people who are most blessed.